Welcome to the Devil's Punchbowl. All right, folks, so quick little update. Roughly 50 meters, like straight down almost, is a side trail called Beaver's Road Side Trail, I believe it is. And at that point, there was enough of a trickle to get a full bottle of water. So I was able to get some replenishment that way. And after, of course, loading up full of water, we had a bit of a climb. And you can see through the trees a little bit. I'm just going to zoom in a wee bit. There we go. So you can see a little bit of the edge of Hamilton. Not much. You can see a little bit of the bay there as well, beyond the buildings. And onward we go. So next stop, Felker's. About a kilometer to go-ish?
Yeah.
Okay. And now that we're all caught up in our breath, you're not going to hear us wheezing and huffing and puffing as much. Ran into a few more people on the trail. And at least the trail has evened out again. So after a bit of a climb, relax a little bit. You can see signs of suburbia down below. Road right down there. I can see a pool. Well, you know, like if you aim quite well, just tumble down the ravine and into the pool.
I do see that. We could try that. Could hurt.
Yes, especially with that one tree root sticking up.
Yep.
That would be very, very bad.
I think the biggest concern is actually overshooting the pool and hitting the house.
That would be bad too. Do a face plant in the back patio window. Yo, we got some water. This is the kind of conversation that we have on said trail. Not quite the beards of knowledge that we think that we are. Ooh, something scurrying around in the brush.
I heard something in there. Don't see anything though. Hard to spot them in.
Yeah, probably a squirrel.
Dinner starts to come through.
Lovely.
Catherine made. It was supposed to be like a vegan hamburger. It was made with beef. It was fine. Yeah. Like,
Once again, folks, I remind you to make sure that whoever you go hiking with, you get along with, in all aspects. Trees there, but not a lot. Very, very similar gorge to the Devil's Punchbowl. Just wanted to get a little bit more of the property of Felker's Falls before we exit. But it's quite a nice little path. Don't really see much, and definitely don't see the falls much at all through the trees. But definitely easy going for a couple tired hikers. And sun is definitely raising the temperature closer to that 30 mark, but the shade is making it quite nice. Alright, so after some paved trail, we are on the cusp of King's Forest, and we heard some water. And although this is not specifically labeled, it could be or close to Glendale
Falls.
Glendale Falls, thank you. Very, very nice. Don't really see a way down to the water, at least from up here. So on we go. We are closing in on Albion Falls, which will probably be our end point for the day. But not before some pointless ups and downs. Because what would be a day on the trail without some puds? More falls by the sounds of it. Oh, there's my one. Maybe just a lookout.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't really see anything further down. Oh, maybe. It's steep though. I can barely see it. So, not too long after that last recording, we obviously got off a dirt path and have been on paved for the last 150 meters.
Yeah.
I'm trying to take some refuge in a little bit of shade while it lasts. Definitely feel the sun beating down on the back of my neck. And it looks like a left turn. Maybe go under the overpass on the left here. So this is off of Red Valley Trail. And this is the bear meeting place. I'll let you pause if you want to read that. And I'll get back in the shade. Alright folks, so what the game plan is, we're going to take the first side trail to check out Albion Falls. And that same side trail will also continue up to hopefully allow us to check out Buttermilk Falls. And then if we continue on just a little bit further, there's a parking lot where just before it meets up with the main trail is where we're going to be calling it quits for the day. So all in all, roughly 13-14K. A little warm now that the sun's out and clouds have gone away. Still a little cool in the shade, but yeah, it's getting warm. So away we go. Very nice. Indeed. All right, folks, so we showed you Albion Falls, even though we couldn't really get too close to the falls themselves. And if you can hear the water in the background, we are now at Buttermilk Falls. Not nearly as nice as Albion, but you can also see some of the same geological features as, say, like Devil's Punchbowl and whatnot. But definitely it'll be a lot more impressive during the spring runoff. At least Albion had some volume. Here it was just a little bit more than a trickle. And definitely no access down below, for obvious reasons. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up the day for today, folks. We're going to make our way to a parking lot and get picked up by Uber and enjoy some air conditioning and a meal and an adult beverage of various types. As always, folks, like, subscribe, hit that bell button, and as always, hope to see you out on the trail. There's Mike and
Rob.
We're out of here.